I had to beg for the good song. What's up, degenerates? You know what time it is. It's halftime of TNF, and this is Over Underdogs, the show where we pick player props on Underdog Fantasies PickEm. If you want to play along with us, definitely do it. Use promo code NONSENSE for a nice little bonus. As per usual, I'm your host, Mason Cameron, at PFF_Mace on Twitter. And with me, as always, my beautiful and brilliant partner in crime, Vishaal Gupta, at Vishaal_Gupta95 on Twitter. Go check him out if you haven't. V, how are you feeling? It's another week. It's more money to be made. I'm excited. How are you doing?
I'm very excited. I can't believe it's already week 4. But yeah, there's a great lineup tonight on with some of our picks, and I'm ready to get into it.
You know, time flies when you're having fun, so I'm right there with you. And of course, joining us tonight, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Kavanaugh, the Javanaugh87 on Twitter. I know you already follow him because I've been shouting out the tweet all season long. Go check him out. Best damn follow on Twitter. You're going to freaking love it. And if you watch the show at all, you already know that Jack runs a number of excellent shows that you have to check out. He runs the Believe Lions podcast with Glover Quinn, as well as the newest show from Player Profiler. I might be leaking something right there, so keep that one on the down low from just between us. But Jack, I've been itching to get you on the show here to win us some money, so I'm super excited. But how are you doing tonight?
Hello. I am great. Thank you for having me on. Don't worry, you're not leaking anything. You can catch me 7 nights a week at 7 p.m. Eastern on Player Profiler on their YouTube channel and their Facebook. Excited to be back. Excited to be on air for ImportantNonsense.com. Don't get to do it weekly anymore, so fantastic to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you couldn't stay away for too long. We were going to take you right off the rip. So, we're excited to get going. And if you already know, we have a lot to go through. We have a little bit of housekeeping. So we have some records that we're going to share here. As usual, because I've been telling you guys, Vishaal's a killer. He's out here. He's hitting 66%. I'd be right up there. I've had a couple of bad beats, though, but we're just right behind him. Unfortunately, we don't have any straight wins for our locks or for our entries in general. But what we do have is we're still making money because we're using Underdogs PickEm Insurance. And if you guys don't know, PickEm Insurance is a great new way to hedge your entry. When you turn insurance on for a PickEm entry, your payouts will be reduced just a little bit. But if you miss one of your picks, you can still win money. So we love to see it. We love to do that. And we love making money. So here we are. It's another week. We have a bunch more picks. And we're going to jump right into it so we don't leak over into the third quarter, get you guys out of here quick. V, why don't you run us through what you have this morning or tonight?
Yeah, let's get started. First up, I have Jacoby Brissett higher than 15.55 fantasy points. I really like this number. He's gone over 15.55 fantasy points in both of his last 2 games. He's going up against an Atlanta secondary that ranks on the bottom 10 in terms of passing yards allowed through 3 weeks. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Atlanta's defense is suspect, and Cleveland has a lot of injuries on defense. I think there's going to be a lot of points for both teams, high-scoring game. And the other great thing is that on Underdog, interceptions only count as -1 points instead of the usual -2 points that most fantasy sites have. So even if Brissett is a little careless with the ball here and there, it's not going to hurt you too bad. I really like this number at 15.55, and I'm going higher than that number. Next up is an interesting one. It's Devin Singletary higher than 13.5 receiving yards. This might seem a little random, but Singletary had a huge receiving game last week. He had 9 catches for 78 yards in the passing game, and he's gone over 13.5 or higher than 13.5 receiving yards twice already this season. And he's playing a Baltimore team that's allowed 4 different running backs to go higher than this number through 3 weeks. That's pretty astounding. Ramondre Stevenson had 28 last week. Raheem Mostert had 28 the week before that. And both Breece Hall and Michael Carter had over 38 receiving yards in week 1. So they're just giving up plenty of receiving yards to running backs against everybody they played so far this season. So I see no reason for Singletary to not go over 13.5, which is a much smaller number than they've given up so far. And finally, I'm going to take Derek Carr lower than 272.5 passing yards against Mason's Broncos. I think Mason knows this already, but Denver has not allowed any quarterback to throw for more than 179 passing yards. Now we're asking Derek Carr to throw for almost 100 yards more than that this week. I don't think it's going to happen. Carr is averaging less than 235 passing yards in 15 games career against Denver. He just doesn't throw that many yards against these guys. Their defense is still very good. Their secondary is awesome. It's going to be a tough time, I think, for Carr to hit this number.
Yeah, me and V have been working together a long, long time. He knows just the things to say to get a smile on my face, and I'm right there with you, V. He's not going to have 100 yards. He's not going to have 100 yards.
I wonder what the odds on that for that going to be. What can you get?
Plus
500?
I'm looking for the alternate line ASAP. Yeah. ASAP.
Sounds good.
So on to the man of the hour. We have Jack. Jack, why don't you run the people through all the beautiful picks that you pulled out for us?
We've got Courtland Sutton over 68.5 receiving yards. This one seems obvious. He faces maybe Rock Ya-Sin. We're not sure if he's going to play or not. In the slot, whenever he moves there, Nate Hobbs dealing with a concussion. And even when they play, the Raiders have been torched early and often. And not to mention Courtland Sutton, the clear alpha for the Denver Broncos. 371 air yards, number 2 in the NFL. 6 deep targets, number 3 in the NFL. And a 40.3% air yard share. That's number 5 in the NFL. Courtland Sutton is the guy in Denver. And I know Mason loves to hear that as a Denver Broncos fan. Next up, we've got Travis Etienne over 7.75 fantasy points. This one is easy. The Jaguars haven't been in a close game yet. Not once. It's been blowouts all season long. So, of course, they're going to play James Robinson, the banger, the bruiser between the tackles, grinder. But he's averaging under 4 yards per touch. Almost the same amount that Travis Etienne is averaging created per touch. Travis Etienne, 3.97 yards created per touch, number 7 in the NFL. His 10.1 yards per reception are number 3, and his yards per route run are number 9. So with an increased snap share while down against the Eagles, Travis Etienne is going to soar past this easily into the double digits. Finally, we have Austin Eckler, and the fact that they have 53.5 rushing yards as his prop is ridiculous. He's averaging 26.6 rushing yards per game. He's only getting a 56.6% snap share, 32 carries. That's only 10.7 carries per game. So Austin Eckler is not a running back anymore. He is a receiving back. Sony Michel and Joshua Kelly are going to split the running game work. So Austin Eckler under 53.5 is a lock.
I'm right there with you. You couldn't make more money than that. We're printing money off with these picks. And you're right, Jack. I love to hear the Broncos praise. I love it. You're exactly right. You can come back on the show anytime. I have to teach Vaughn that because Vaughn keeps coming in here, and Ben. They keep coming in here and betting against my Broncos. And then I'm mad for the rest of the day. I'm totally mad. So it's all good. Now we head into my picks for the week. So I'm starting off with a little hesitation. For starters, I am going lower than 14.25 fantasy points for Justin Fields. Now, both Jack and Vishaal highlighted a fantasy point projection on here, and I love the fact that Underdog does these because it gives so much more room for error when you think about exactly how they are going to attack a team. Now, I think that Justin Fields is going to completely I can't exactly say he's going to poop the bed, and it's going to be a rough day for him. So the biggest things that I see is that he's on the road against the Giants this week, and this is totally a critique of his play and not so much like an upping of the Giants. Through 3 games, Fields has under 300 total yards passing, 4 interceptions to just 2 touchdowns, and just 51.1% completion percentage. That is awful. That is like very, very bad, where if this guy was not drafted as high as he was, he would not be continuing to get this opportunity. I don't see a lot going for them. I love his talent, but They need to figure something out offensively and get him into positions to win. His average per game so far has been just 10.43 fantasy points. Like I said, the Giants defense isn't great, but they do allow the 7th fewest yards to quarterbacks so far this season. And that's not really because they're great at stopping the pass. It's just because they suck at stopping the run, and they allow over 5.3 yards per carry. So given how the Bears have attacked teams this year, I would expect nothing less than a heavy dose of the run game and trying to control the ball because they can't really do anything else. On to the next pick. We have the Rashad Bateman higher than 50.5 receiving yards. And you probably already know we're very pro Bateman here. That almost sounded pretty bad. After screaming it for over a year, it's finally Bateman season. And I know you hear that, Steve. You can scream it all you want on your couch right now. And even when he's only seeing the field on just over 60% of the snaps, Bateman has been excellent through 3 games. He has the 3rd most yards per route run in the league. He's also gone higher than this threshold of 50.5 yards in each of his game. His snaps continue to increase on passing downs, and his numbers should only follow suit. This week, he faces a battered Bills secondary that's down both of their safeties, as we heard last week, and now they're down a number of corners. It's so bad, they had to go and sign Xavier Rhodes. I don't know if anybody remembers what Xavier Rhodes looked like last year, but there's a damn reason he's still on the couch. Like, it was that bad. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bateman hit this number in a single deep ball like he has twice this season so far. I love the number here, and this is probably going to be my lock. But I'm on the fence with my next pick here, and that's Drake London higher than 56.5 receiving yards. Also, we're going 2 wide receiver props here. Move over Kyle Pitts because this is the Drake London show in Atlanta. London's had a great season. He's gone over this projection of 56.5 receiving yards 2 of 3 games. He missed last week by just 2.5 yards, though, and he would have had 3 of 3. This week, he goes up against a Browns defense that hasn't been terribly great stopping teams in the air, like V said. I see a lot of points happening in this game. They've allowed the 6th most yards to wide receivers this season, and the Browns defense is also dealing with some injuries, namely to Denzel Ward. Now, on paper, that sounds great, but he's also been absolutely dusted all season long. His PFF coverage grade right now is 31.5, and that is just atrocious. That is terrible for the guy that he is and that we've seen him play. I don't see another player on their team that has over a 70 coverage grade outside of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and he primarily covers in the slot and in tight ends. It's further reason to fade Pitts and jump on the London train. This is going to go, and this number is going to hit probably in the first half, and you're going to love it, and that's easy money for us. So on to the highlight of the night, and that's our lock of the week. And let's start it off with the man of the hour, Jack. Jack, who are you taking for your lock?
For my lock of the week, we're going to take Travis Etienne. This is the week he puts it all together. This is the week he establishes himself as the true RB1 for the Jaguars. James Robinson's still going to have a role. He's still Melvin Gordon, but Travis Etienne is Austin Eckler, 7.75s. Above that in the fantasy points is a lock.
We love it. The Jags are back, baby. The Jags are back.
I don't want the back, baby, is a jinx. We've seen the Bears.
You didn't do that, though, Jack. You can't take the blame for that. They're atrocious on their own.
This is true.
You tried to
Chicago.
You tried to up them all you could. You did all you could. It was a toxic relationship, and frankly. But V, let's go over to you. Who do you have for your lock this week?
I'm going to go ahead and lock up Jacoby Brissett higher than 15.55 fantasy points. He's been a lot better than I think anybody thought through 3 weeks this season. He seems to have a good chemistry with Amari Cooper. He's running the offense very well, and that rushing attack is still just unbelievably good, opening up easy opportunities for Brissett in the passing game. This should be an easy higher than 15.5 fantasy points on this one.
I'm right there with you. I think so too. And if I didn't absolutely love Bateman this week, I would definitely be right there with London. Oh, my contact's about to fall out. But I'm picking Bateman, like I said, higher than 50.5 receiving yards. when the guy can just take a ball 60 yards as easy as he has so much this season, how can you not love that potential? Especially after last week, the Bills definitely showed that they had some trouble with their secondary, and they're going to need to do some stuff to get it right. And it doesn't look like it's going to be this week. So I'm super interested to see how it plays out. But that about does it. That was a nice little show. We've got all the winners for you. And it's been another great week. We fit it right into halftime. Jack, do you have any parting words for the good people at home? All the good degenerates, they want to hear from you. And definitely go follow Jack on Twitter, like I said. And I know you guys already do.
Find me everywhere at Javanaugh87. Find me on importantnonsense.com. Find me on playerprofiler.com, on the Player Profiler YouTube channel, on the Believe in Lions podcast. Find me too many places. But Mason, thank you so much for having me. Vishaal, thank you so much for having me. Pleasure as always.
Of course, Jack, the pleasure was all ours. V, any parting words for the people?
I'm pretty mad that you picked against my Bears, so I'm going to come back at you tomorrow and for the rest of the season for that. I'm just kidding. It was very fun tonight, and let's do it again tomorrow.
V, I am going to pick against you until I take the lead in NFL versus.
It's not going to happen. I got a 2-pick lead now. You mess it up. I have a 2-pick lead. It's over.
Nah, this is the get right week. But anyway, everybody check us out. Promo code nonsense on Underdog Fantasy to play along. Promo code something on shop.importantnonsense.com for all your merch. Check out our Patreon. Check out our Discord. Check out importantnonsense.com for all the good picks and all that stuff. And until next week, we'll catch you again.